I always dreamed of becoming a storyteller, sharing stories of those often overlooked and misunderstood. That's me super nervous before my first live shot. So when I became a journalist, I was ready to try to break down some barriers, but I can honestly say that I didn't think I was prepared for what was about to follow. Take this for example, a note my news station received after one of my stories aired. It read, "I do not watch your channel for the Muslim faith and education on Ramadan. I will never watch your station again." That was in response to my story on Muslims answering frequently asked questions during the month of fasting. Every year the questions rolled in. Do you starve when you fast for 30 days? Can you drink water? So I thought I would create a quick video, Muslims answering those frequently asked questions. Needless to say, it was met with a rush of extremely harsh comments criticizing the report that highlighted Muslims in the community. What most of those keyboard warriors didn't know was that I myself was a Muslim. Also a journalist reporting in her hometown, sharing stories of the misunderstood and often overlooked. But I think they only saw me humanizing people of the Muslim faith with what they associated as terrorism. No doubt I was discouraged thanks to those keyboard warriors, and I don't even really think we should call them warriors. It's essentially someone who's using a computer to act as a barrier from face-to-face confrontation, spewing sometimes hateful comments and sometimes remaining anonymous. And they don't even have to really hide behind a keyboard. A heated discussion on an afternoon radio show with former MC Jason Sokol led me to tears when a caller told the host, "I wouldn't call terrorists crazy, I would just call them typical Muslims." Well, little did the caller know that the local news anchor who was set to inform him of today's news was also a typical Muslim, me. I can hide my emotions pretty well, but that was the first time I actually broke down behind the doors of the on-air studio because I felt confused, I felt heartbroken, that there were people in our community who really didn't view Muslims as equal, despite the fact that I lived a simple life just as they did. And I was putting together this presentation, I couldn't even begin to go back over the social media comments to offer more examples, but I do remember someone leaving an online comment on one of my stories calling Muslims cancer, although in that case my friend just responded with, "I'm actually a Taurus." Sometimes you have to laugh. And while I can stand here and tell you that words don't hurt, I would be lying. When I tell these stories, in the case of this, stories about Muslims, I'm putting others out there in the crossfire as well. They also see these online comments, and I would also be lying to you if I told you that I didn't sometimes regret telling those stories. But that's when I realized I am responsible for sharing these stories in a society where we have to battle terms like fake news. It's been used a lot lately, and quite frankly, something I hear on a daily basis. It's sometimes emotionally draining and almost discouraging, leaving me and others to rethink our purpose. At a time when trust appears to be becoming scarce in our society, we lose the ability to actively see this world with an open mind, sometimes clouded with judgment and aggregating information based on your likes and your dislikes, and you choose what you follow and what you ignore. What would happen if we didn't share any of the stories that offer a different, possibly life-changing perspective? It's somewhat of a rhetorical question, as you can see here at PechaKucha, because I think we all truly understand the power our stories have on our own lives. It brings me to a Facebook message shared with me by my former second grade teacher. She came across that same story of the month of Ramadan and remembered a conversation I had with her as a young student. She asked my 8-year-old self if I was required to fast for 30 days. I told her no, but I said my mom was fasting, and well, she's the nicest person I know. So just so you know, I feel that way still about my mom, who's my best friend and the person who pushed me to follow this career path. She passed away 7 years ago, but not without telling me that she wanted me to become a storyteller, and even encouraged me to write letters to Oprah to see if I could get a job. But I'm in my hometown, so I'm pretty happy. My former second grade teacher said those words I spoke to her stuck with her all these years. A simple comment made a lasting impact. So it's safe to say that stories can do the exact same thing. They can offer a different perspective, especially when at times we feel divided, and I feel like sometimes we feel that a lot lately. So despite the negativity we may come across, there are plenty of people offering support, the thoughtful comments that come rolling in after every single case. Some appreciating the information and looking into something that they may have been unfamiliar with. And while we can expect some pretty harsh comments on stories, it doesn't mean the words in the story will lose its potential to make a powerful statement. It also doesn't mean we should be afraid of those comments. Those comments are what drive us to be a voice and to give those without a voice something to hear. Those comments should not be the reason voices are silenced. It shouldn't be the reason we're discouraged to write another story. And it shouldn't be the reason we or any of our other subjects should feel worried to speak out. If anything, we should feel empowered to encourage thoughtfulness when we talk to each other. Feel empowered to find the voices that have been silenced to battle against ignorance, intolerance, and hatred. Yes, I'm a Muslim, I'm a woman, and I have a family full of Palestinian immigrants. Through journalism, I've learned my story, your story, and their story. They're all equally as valuable. We need to share these stories. So I leave you with this. If our stories remain silent and journalism becomes an afterthought, can we really grow as a community? It's not something I'm willing to let happen because I wouldn't want to see this world without those willing to share those powerful stories and the storytellers that bring it to us. That's it.